At the end of last week, I filed the Gulf of Mexico Economic and Environmental Restoration Act. It was just April 20th of this past year where our economy and environment was turned upside down when the BP Deepwater Horizon well blew up, caught fire, and then proceeded to leak oil into the Gulf of Mexico and was not capped for 5 months. Fisheries were closed. Hotels and resorts across the Gulf Coast suffered huge losses. The environmental damage was, it's been called the largest man-made environmental catastrophe in the history of the United States. The oil and petroleum product has trained through the water column. The oil washed up on beaches in the Panhandle and Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, into the marshes and wetlands. This happened at a time when we were just coming to an economic recovery. Jobs were lost, and our recovery, unfortunately, took a step backward. During that period, President Obama announced that he would like, ultimately, to restore the Gulf of Mexico to a condition better than it was before the oil blowout. He assigned Navy Secretary Ray Mabus to commence a Gulf of Mexico recovery plan. And indeed, Navy Secretary Mabus was here at the University of South Florida, St. Pete, for a large town hall meeting where we heard from businesses and residents, environmentalists, and researchers about how we could recover the Gulf Coast. A month later, Secretary Mabus announced and released a recovery plan for the Gulf of Mexico. In that recovery plan, he said, we're going to leave it to the people who live and work in the Gulf Coast to come up with a recovery plan, and we're going to leave it to Congress to determine the details of implementation. So my bill, the Gulf of Mexico Economic and Environmental Recovery Act of 2010, provides those details. We create a new Gulf of Mexico Recovery Fund. Right now, under the law, under the Clean Water Act, if BP pays fines and penalties, those monies will go strictly to the Oil Pollution Trust Fund. There's no guarantee that those monies will actually be used for Gulf of Mexico recovery. So what my legislation will do, will create a Gulf of Mexico Recovery Fund. This will be a very substantial and robust fund for economic recovery and economic recovery of the Gulf of Mexico.